Alright, hello everyone. Why do I keep smacking my mouth like that? Anyway, I'm here, I'm back with another, recap for Dancing with the Stars, season 27, week 2. Night 2, we have another another 2-night week, but this is going to be the last one probably until the finals, unless they throw a random one at us at some point. But regardless, yes, we are back, and it is New York night. That's the theme. So we're back to the themes, of course, because what is modern DWTS without themes every single week? Themes that usually screw with the dances and stuff. What is it without that? So, again, 3 judges, all that stuff. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Our first couple. First of all, the opening number was nice. I think I enjoyed it mostly. Well, I enjoyed the theatrics behind it, but I also enjoyed the tappers and the ballerina. That's about all that I really cared for in terms of dancing. The rest of it just kind of, and Brit's entrance was great too. So yeah, oh gosh, maybe if okay, well, as I'm trying to fix this, up first we had DeMarcus and Lindsay. They had a foxtrot. I really enjoyed this dance, and upon second viewing, I actually thought it was better than the first time I watched it. I think DeMarcus is he's a really fast learner. You can tell he's really dedicated to do well. He, of course, is a football player, so he knows his body, he knows how to move his body, he knows how to train, he knows how to work, he knows how to do what he needs to get better. They got a 24 for they got a 24 for this dance. I thought that was a very good score. I thought it was just right. I thought it was, I loved the dance. I loved everything about it. It just, unfortunately, because it was a foxtrot, it didn't have the impact that I would have liked for it to have had. But that's okay, because it's a foxtrot, and you're not really expecting it to be like super like impactful. There's only been like a few that I've ever really like truly just like had to go back and watch, and usually they're perfect scoring foxtrots. Up next was Danielle and Artem. They had a cha-cha and they got an 18. She started out with a solo. I really liked the solo that she did. I thought it was good. I liked that Artem included her walking stick. I think that helped her feel more at ease with the dance, because you could tell she was it was well out of her element. She was nervous. You could tell she was super nervous going into it. She did have one major mess up right at the beginning when she got with Artem and they came down the little slide thing. And then they went into I don't know what that step is called. Is it like a shadow walk or something? I don't know. But they went into that step and she messed up big time. And then she was just, again, she really was struggling to find her footing. She still got through it. She didn't make any major mess ups. After that point, it was just a lot of just like hesitancy and struggling and all of that. So I thought an 18 was appropriate. I do hope they do better tonight. I just want for Danielle to, I understand that she's nervous, but I just want her to let go and really just let Artem guide her. in the way that he's trying to. I think that I with with a good reason. I think she's nervous about um, really the fact that she can't see what she's doing. And I think she's nervous about that. I have to get this skin cleared up. I don't know what's going on with my skin and why it keeps breaking out. Gosh, I need to find some products for black men. Anyway, that's beside the point. Um, yeah, I just want her to do well. I want her to do good. I want her to have a good time. Um, Hopefully tonight will be it because I'm kind of worried that she might be eliminated. So hopefully tonight she has a good night. Up next was John and Emma. They had a Charleston, and he got a 23. I really enjoyed this dance. I thought it was really fun. Emma was really smart with the choreography. It was really good choreography. Um, the lifts were great. The only issue was, and this is where Emma was smart with, she kept it very light on Charleston, basics and stuff like that, and more flashy type of things, which is good for the audience and it's good for John because when you saw him do the actual Charleston stuff, his technique wasn't quite up to par. So it was very smart of her to limit the amount of time they do that and keep it them dancing, just doing super, super, super basic stuff and more posy things and stuff like that. So, but it was a really good dance. They got a 23. I thought it was deserved, for sure. Up next was Nancy and what's his face, Val. They had a cha-cha and they got a 21. Um, First of all, I'm just going to say, looking at who danced second, third, and fourth, it raises a couple of eyebrows for me because second, third, and fourth aren't the greatest running positions. And that just kind of, um, I don't know. It's just very, it feels to me that those couples are kind of in trouble, specifically Danielle and Nancy. Now, Nancy's cha cha wasn't bad. Her technique is actually pretty decent. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. I would say she's like right in the middle. She's like right there, um, like right in between the people who are really good and then the people who are not so great with their technique. And she could kind of go either way. Um, Last night I thought she did really good until she made her mistake because she did have one major mistake in that dance. Um, and from that point on, she kind of was just really bobby, really extra bobby and bouncy than she was before the mistake happened. She also, I also have to say that she just isn't very grounded in her movements. Um, I think she is I mean, okay, so she had a stress fracture in her foot. So I understand that it's going to cause a little bit of issues when you're placing your feet and whatever. And you don't want to put too much pressure on the foot. That's messed up. However, um, her dance, I don't know. I just need her to really get more into the ground. And I'll talk about that more later on. But especially for a Latin dance, like I just need you to really get down into it versus kind of just being on top of the dance, if you know what I'm saying. Otherwise, I thought she did a pretty good job. Val is not irritating me this season. That's a plus. However, I'm also worried about her tonight. And with the elimination, she runs the risk of being eliminated too. So yeah. Up next was Alexis and Alan. They had an Argentine tango, and they got a 25. And I absolutely love this dance. Um, I would have loved it way more had they not had the wardrobe malfunction with her tutu. But I loved the ballet part. That ballet part at the beginning was gorgeous. Alexis has, I said this my last videos, Alexis has gorgeous legs. And it's not just the fact that she has really nice legs and really long, pretty legs. It's not just that, it's the fact that she knows how to work her legs. You can't just have nice legs but not know what to do with them, because then they just kind of like hang. But she knows exactly what to do. Good on Alan for really drilling that into her, but not just that, she is aware of like her legs, and I think that is an amazing quality for her to have. Some of those lines were gorgeous, and some of those lifts, especially the split lift where her one leg is on top of his shoulder, on Alan's shoulders, he picks her up, spins her around, and her other leg is kind of like just a little bit above the ground. Um, just that's gorgeous to look at. Now, the coming out of the lifts were rough. Um, and I probably would have given it a 24 just for the simple fact that those were rough. But I mean, it was great. It was, I loved it. I love that. Um, Again, it's just, it's unfortunate that they had that um, issue in the middle of the dance, because I think the transition from ballet to Argentine tango just didn't flow well, and it had to do with that. And then the fact that they were just like, there was a lot of issues in that transition period, so it really took away from the dance for me. But otherwise, I thought it was great. They did well with the song that they were given, considering the song is not Argentine tango at all, and it's a difficult song to dance to. Um, Up next, okay, now bear with me. Bear with me. I'm trying to remember who was next. Because I know Kim's directly after this person, but I can't remember who comes right before them. Um, Let me run through the list really quick. Oh, Joe. So Joe and Jenna were next. They had a foxtrot. I'm gonna say this was better than last week, because it was. He didn't mess up quite as bad, and well, he didn't mess up, and um, not only did he not mess up, but it wasn't a train wreck. Now, with that said, um, they weren't really doing much. Well, he wasn't really doing much. Um, Smart of Jenna to keep his movement to a minimum, just because there are so many ways for this to go south. He can make pretty lines, um, but I'm not going to go into how many issues there were, because there were a lot of issues with Frame and him not really being as powerful as a leader as I would have, not leader, but like leading the dance, I would say, as he should have been, and all that stuff. But I will say it was an improvement. Um, no matter how small it may have been, it was an improvement, and that's all you're looking for in this show. Um, is to not be in the same place that you started. And I mean, if he gets eliminated tonight, which I doubt he will, but if he does, he's not in the same place that he started. So, kudos to them. I'm not sure how much better he's going to get, because again, I just don't feel like he's a good dancer. And whenever they get a Latin dance, I wonder if that's tonight, I don't know, but whenever they get a Latin dance, I expect that to be a complete and utter disaster. Um, I mean, I'm just being real. Um, but we'll see. Um, he seemed to be in better spirits tonight, or last night, so that was good. So up next we had Tinashe, and this was my favorite dance of the night. Well, one of my favorite dances. I had three, but this is my favorite dance of the night, and it was my favorite like type of dance. So they had an Argentine tango. Oh, did I say what Joe got? Joe got a 17. So they had an Argentine tango, Tinashe and Brandon, and they got a 26. I would have liked for it to be a 27, considering Lynn's only issue with it was the fact that the feel of it wasn't the way that he wanted it to be, which isn't really Brandon's fault. It's the fault of the uh, producers and the music people for giving them that song to dance, because it wasn't an Argentine tango type of song, especially not one for traditional Argentine tango. Um, and to be honest, it was a terrible song choice, awful song choice. So I think that Lynn was kind of a bit off with that critique, um, because it wasn't their fault. Somebody just ran over some glass. Um, anyway, loved it. Tinashe killed it. Brandon's choreography was amazing. They really made that song work and made it that song that could have it shouldn't have worked, but it worked the whole dance, and it created just this modern take on an Argentine tango, while still keeping the integrity of the dance. And I just loved it. Um, Definitely my one of my favorite dances of the season so far. Um, it was great, and again, those lifts were to die for. Some of those lifts, especially the one where there was two lifts in particular. The first one where Brandon kind of picks her up and takes her from this corner and like puts her here. And it was kind of like in slow motion, but the way she just easily just lifted off the ground and everything just stayed picture perfect. And then she moved here, incredible. And then that cartwheel lift. Um, where she like was slowed down at the end and then she touched the ground, amazing. Both of those lifts were flawless, and then the other one just getting up into that lift where she's on his back, his shoulders, and she's um like arms and legs out and he's spinning, again amazing. And that could have gone wrong, and when I was watching their Instagram stories and stuff, it went wrong so many times, so I was happy to see that. Yeah, I love that dance. 26, definitely worthy of a 26 for sure. Um, Up next was Milo and Whitney, and they had a Charleston. They got a 26. Another one of my favorite dances of the night. Incredible, amazing. Whitney's choreography was on point. Um, Whitney has really been in her bag for the past few seasons. I know there's a little bit of a hiccup after her season with Alfonso, with choreography, but she really has hit her stride. She is like, her head is like in the game, like, and has been since she was with Frankie. Was it Frankie? Who was she with? Season 24. She was with Chris, so she wasn't dancing for a long time. Um. Anyway, this Charleston was sickening. I loved it. Um, Milo really improved so drastically over a week. Um, and all like he was like super in control of his body last week, even though there was a couple issues. But this week, it was like he made changes, and like he was big and then small and then all these things. And I'm like, how, like as a 17-year-old, how are you aware of all of this? Not aware of it, but like as a 17-year-old and you're tall, how are you able to control your body in this way? Because again, I know I had issues with controlling my long limbs, and stuff. So seeing that, I have to give props to him and Whitney for that. That it was incredible. I love the dance, love the energy, high energy, great technique. Just loved it. Um, Up next was, okay, so bear with me again. So I know who was after them. Mary Lou. Mary Lou Retton and Sasha. They had a waltz, and they got a 22. I thought this dance was very pretty. It was a definite improvement over last week. However, at the beginning of the dance, Mary Lou was a little bit rigid, um, for lack of a better word. And I don't want to say like rigid as in like she was stiff or whatever, but her movements just didn't flow the way that a waltz should. It was very like sticky, posy and stuff. Gymnasts tend to have that problem a lot, but the younger gymnasts that we've had, um, weren't quite as like, it wasn't quite as ingrained in them, you know. So, you know, they had the or they could like make the switch, and it wasn't quite as apparent. With Mary Lou, since she is, was she over 50? Since she is over 50, she hasn't had quite the, or she's had that ingrained for so long, and she hasn't had to like unlearn that piece. Um, and so you could see it more with her dance. But as the dance went on, she smoothed it out a bit more, and it looked a lot better. She seemed more comfortable. She seemed just a lot. It just seemed to feel better as she got into the dance. Um, I feel like that's going to be a thing with her. It seems like as the dance goes on, she kind of, um, hold on, I'm thinking of somebody else. Never mind. Um, with her though, it's just like with this particular dance, as she got into it more, she really just like, it just looked like it felt good after a while. So the 22 I thought was a good score. I am worried about her too, though not as worried. I think her score will keep her safe for now, but she does run the risk of fading into the background and being an early elimination. Um, Up next was Juan Pablo and Cheryl. They had a quick step, and were they next? Yeah, they were next. They got a 26. I thought this dance was really good. I don't think it deserved a 26. I don't think it was nearly as good as Tinashe or Milo, but I think it was better than Alexis. So I would have given Alexis about a 24 and given him a 25. Um, yeah, because I thought his frame was very odd. There's a lot of issues with his frame. I also thought there was a mistake in there, but I do understand that I feel like the judges were kind of just so excited about the night because there were so many great dances that they just kind of like were already like, oh my gosh, it's so amazing or whatever. So they were already in that state. So I understand why they would have, gotten a little extra happy with him. Um, and 1 point isn't really all that much at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, um, I did think he did a great job. I thought the footwork was very good. I thought just everything about it was good. Just that frame wasn't great. So they need to work on that. Um, Up next was Ivana and Keo. They had a samba, and they got a 24. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. This is actually what I was talking about when I was talking about Nancy needing to be more grounded with her Latin routines. This is a perfect example of that. So Ivana was, I actually did not expect for her to be like this with this samba. I was not expecting it at all. For me, I kind of got the sense that she might be more, let's say, fairy-like in her movements, and not like soft or whatever, but just kind of like, I don't know, like Lindsay Sterling was. Um, hold on. Hmm. All these people coming around. I just wanna do this video and not have people just looking at me. Anyway, so I was talking about Ivana. So I was kind of expecting for Ivana her Latin dances to be more like Lindsay Sterling's, but they weren't, and I'm actually quite pleased by that. Yuck. It was very good. I really enjoyed it. There were some mistakes that she made, but she did have a samba in week 2, and it was definitely one of the hardest dances of the night. But she really handled it well. I thought Keo gave her some great choreography. I thought she really was getting down and dirty and gritty and just like, you know, wasn't afraid to not look pretty. And Latin dances can look pretty, but she really like was getting into it and really feeling it, and that's something that I want Nancy to do. Just really get into it and really just, you know. So I thought that was a very good dance. I really enjoyed it. It was one of my other favorite dances of the night. I think she had her moment. I think she broke out and had established herself as a competitor. Yeah, so they did that, and finally at the end we had Bobby and Sharna. They had a foxtrot. He got a 20. How should I put this? Bobby, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. His technique is not great at all. It's not good at all. He had, during that foxtrot, there was a lot of like little steppy steps that he was taking, like, you know, the steppy, that type of thing. And I hate when, I feel like men especially do that with the foxtrot. And I'm not really sure why that is, but he did that a lot. Okay, so, but whatever, he got through the dance. Again, no major mistakes, just a lot of technical errors. He gets to the end, and instead of the choreographed ending that Sharna had, he goes into the little floss thing that little boy did in that Katy Perry performance last year. That the floss that all the kids are doing now. And one, I don't like the floss, but it's not something that I actively hate or whatever. It's just something that's annoying to me. I do it from time to time, ironically, but it's definitely something that's annoying to me. He effectively killed the dance last night. Also, you could tell that Sharna might have been slightly annoyed by the fact that he did not do the choreographed ending that she had to seal the dance up. You could tell the judges were kind of like, okay, you know, you might need to just tread lightly, right? He's getting into dangerous territory. I've also heard murmurings that Sharna was upset with him because he was upset at his score or whatever and didn't want to hold her, walked away from her or something after they got their score. I don't know, because at that point I had already turned to Manifest. Watch that show. It's a very good show, Manifest. It was just a lot. It was a lot. I need for Bobby to calm down. Strike two. Third strike, I'm gonna be watching him. I got my good eye on him tonight, as Rox would say. I got my good eye on him. He's got one more strike. He gets to strike 3, he's done with me. I'm really trying my hardest, but he is rubbing me the wrong way. And a lot of people have already been talking about that. I was just like, I'm going to give him a shot. Just give him one more chance. You know, he was celebrating after that first dance. And I get that, right? So then after this dance, I'm like, okay, you're pushing it now. So I just need for him to quit it with that so that he can actually dance or whatever. Because if he keeps doing this, one, the viewers are going to be sick of him. And 2, the judges are going to come down extremely hard on him because they don't like when this show is taken as a joke. And we've seen it done in the past where they take a celebrity score and then they knock the score down a few points because they feel like the celebrity is disrespecting it or whatever. Prime example, Master P, when he got an 8 on that Paso Doble. That Paso Doble was not an 8 worthy, and he was better than Kenny Mayne. But because he wouldn't wear the shoes, they knocked him at that point, or that score down. Lynn and Bruno especially knocked that score down. So don't play with these judges, because if you think that it's all fun and games or whatever, and you're just gonna do, they don't play. They don't play. So he needs to work on that, because he does not know the area he's getting himself into. We haven't been in that territory in quite some time, but we're getting there. Because I could see it in Carrie Ann's face, especially last night, that we're getting to that point where they're a little, he is teetering. So yeah, that's it. This video was a lot longer than I expected it to be, but it should be shorter I doubt it. Yeah, tonight is Las Vegas night, week 2, night 2, and there'll be an elimination. There's talks about it being a double elimination, but nothing's been confirmed by the show yet, so I'm not sure. Yeah, until tomorrow, I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.